Welcome back to On the Same Page. We are on Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, 3a of Maseches Taanis. We are 3 lines down from the top. We're on where it says, in the middle of the line, it says Tanya Rabbi Nassan Omer. The Gemara had been discussing various hints to the idea of Nisuch HaMayim, that there are water libations on Sukkos, going along with the Karbanos, along with the wine libations that were done throughout the year. And we saw a couple of hints. We saw this idea that there's some slight changes on certain days of discussing the offerings of Sukkos. So on day 2 it said V'niskehem, we got a mem from that, and instead of V'niska, and on day 6 it said Unisacheha instead of V'niska, and we got an extra yud from that. And on day 7 it said Kimishbatam instead of Kamishbat, we got an extra mem from that. That spelled Mayim. That's a hint to Nisuch HaMayim, to the water libations. That was one idea. Rabbi Akiva added that Unisacheha is plural, and its libations, and that is a reference to plural. There's multiple libations, wine and water. Now the Gemara says, Tanya, Rabbi Nassan Omer, Rabbi Nassan says, we have a brisa, Ba'kodesh haseich nesech shechar la'Hashem. The verse, speaking about the Karban Tamid, the daily Tamid offering, it says, Ba'kodesh, in holiness, haseich nesech, you should pour a pouring of shechar la'Hashem, of a intoxicating beverage before God, along with your Karban. So we have here, though, it says, haseich nesech, you should pour a pouring. It's an extra word. So says the Gemara, says Rabbi Nassan, Vishnei nisuchen hakasav medaber. The Torah seems to be speaking about 2 pourings, pour and a pouring. Echad nisuch hamayim, ve'echad nisuch hayayin. One refers to the libation of water, and one to the libation of wine. And there we have a hint, the idea that at least sometimes we have a water libation as well. Again, this pasuk is not specifically speaking about Sukkos, so you might say, okay, so this should be true throughout the year. There should always be a water libation. It would seem, though, as we'll see in the Gemara later, that no, Nisuch HaMayim, water libations are halacha l'Moshe miSinai. It's a tradition from Moshe that this is done specifically on Sukkot. It's not explicit anywhere in the Torah. It's not explicit here. We know it from a tradition. We're looking for a hint to the idea that it occurs. And here's a hint that sometimes you have haseich nesech. You have 2 nesachim, you have 2 libations, wine and water. The Gemara asks, Ema tarvayu dechamra, but maybe they're both wine. I see that there's 2 libations, but where do I get that one should be water? Maybe they should both be wine. That's what I usually use for libations. The Gemara says, no, because im keng lichtov kra. If that were so, the pasuk should have said, oh haseich haseich, oh naseich naseich. If it was referring to 2 of the same kind of libation, so it should use the same word twice. Haseich haseich, pour, naseich naseich, pour. But you should use the same word. My haseich naseich. What is this that it changes the word haseich and naseich? Shmas mina. It's to teach me chad demaya v'chad dechamer, that they're different, and one is water and one is wine. And that's where Rabbi Nassan has a hint. The idea of Nisuch HaMayim, the water libations on Sukkos, in the Torah. The Gemara continues, it says, Elahad itznan. But what about that which we're learning on Mishnah? There's a Mishnah later there's a Mishnah in Sukkah. The Mishnah says, Ditnai Nisuch HaMayim kol shiva. That there's an opinion in the Mishnah that Nisuch HaMayim, the water libations, took place all 7 days of Sukkos. Mani. Now, who would that be going like? Who would hold of the Tanaim that we've discussed up till now? Who would hold that there were libations all 7 days? Rabbi Yoshua. If it's Rabbi Yoshua, name Achad Yom. Rabbi Yoshua would seemingly hold that it's only for 1 day. Who is Rabbi Yoshua? Rabbi Yoshua is the first opinion in our Mishnah. He's the one who said that you start saying Mashiv Urach Mardag Hashem on Shmini Atzeres. And that's when he wants you to start praising God for rain. So seemingly that's also when you would perform water libations as part of your karbanos, which is praying for rain. So Rabbi Yoshua seemingly would hold that you only do libations one day. It's not even on Sukkot, it's on Shmini Atzeres. He would not agree that it's 7 days. Rabbi Akiva, if it's Rabbi Akiva is the one who said that you start saying Mashiv L'Ruach Moed HaGeshem on day 6, because that's where we have the word unisacheha, plural libations, hinting to the water libations, the nisach hamayim. But that's only on day 6, so he said you should start saying Mashiv L'Ruach Moed HaGeshem on day 6, and it would follow. And I actually said something different last week, but what seems to be correct is that Rabbi Akiva would say you only start the libations on day 6. That's where the hint is. So then Rabbi Akiva, if it was Rabbi Akiva, Trei Yomi, there's only 2 days, day 6 and day 7. It's only 2 days of water libations. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, and if it's Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira who held that you start saying Mashiv L'Ruach Moed HaGeshem on day 2, because that's where that hint that I referred to before, of Mayim, Mem Yud Mem, begins, is on day 2 with the word V'niskehem. So seemingly he would say that's also when you start the water libations. So then Shisa Yomi, it would be 6 days, day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but that's only 6 days. So who is it like? Whose opinion, who would say that there's actually 7 days of water libations? Now we should point out that there is one opinion that the Gemara is not quoting, and that is the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. And Rabbi Eliezer said that you start saying Mashiv L'Ruach Moed HaGeshem on day 1, and it follows that you would have 7 days of libations, all 7 days of Sukkot. So Rashi deals with this. Rashi says, yes, indeed, the Gemara knew that Rabbi Eliezer could for sure fit into that opinion. Will for sure hold, or could for sure be the author of that opinion that says that you that you do libations for 7 days. The Gemara is trying to figure out, can any of the other Tanaim also agree that there are libations for 7 days? So the Gemara says, Li'olam Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. Really, it could be Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira who said that you start saying Mashiv L'Ruach Moed HaGeshem on day 2, and seemingly would say that you start the water libations on day 2. So how do you have 7 days? So the Gemara explains, Sfir like Rabbi Yehuda Demas Nisan. He could hold like Rabbi Yehuda of that Mishnah in Sukkah that we just referred to, which talks about how many days there are of water libations. And what does he hold? Ditnan, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Belug hayamenasich kol shmona. They would pour a lug, that's a measurement, of water on the Mizbeach, on the altar, for all 8 days, including Shmini Atzeres. That is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Now, so what we have in that Mishnah is there's the opinion that says that it's for 7 days, and Rabbi Yehuda says no, it's for 8 days. And we want to know who is the opinion that says it's for 7 days. We're saying really it could be Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, but he holds like Rabbi Yehuda, who says it's for 8 days. Well, what does that mean? We're trying to figure out who holds 7 days. We're saying that he holds like the opinion that says it's for 8 days. So what the Gemara means is that he agrees to Rabbi Yehuda perhaps on one point, which is that you also do the libations on Shmini Atzeres. He doesn't agree that it's for 8 days, but he agrees that it continues on to the 8th day. And as the Gemara explains, Umapik Rishon Uma'ayel Shmini. He takes out day 1, but he includes day 8. Because, again, this is Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira who says that the hint of Mayim starts from day 2. So that's when you start saying Mashiv L'Ruach Moed HaGeshem. And that's when the water libations would start on day 2. But they continue through till day 8, including Shmini Atzeres. And that's how you have 7 days of water libations. He could be that opinion. Ask the Gemara, doesn't make sense. Umayshna Rishon Delo. Why would he say that you don't do water libations on day 1? Well, I'll tell you why. Diki Remizi Mayim. Because where is the hint to the word Mayim and the water and the idea that there's Nisach HaMayim on Sukkos? It's B'Shenihu Remizi. It starts on the 2nd day, right? Again, the verse speaking about the offerings of the 2nd day has that extra mem, which begins the word Mayim, which is the hint to Nisach HaMayim. And that's why Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says that you should start the libations on day 2 and not do any libations on day 1. Well, if that's true, Shmini Nami, so I'll say the same thing about day 8. Just as day 1 is left out, day 8 should be left out. Ki Remizi Mayim B'Shvihu Remizi, because where does the hint go up to? The hint goes up to day 7. It's day 2, 6, and 7. So it ends at day 7. So why would you continue to do water libations all the way to day 8? If you're going to leave out day 1, then it makes sense that you should also leave out day 8, and there will only be 6 days of water libations and not 7, and so Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira cannot be the opinion that said that there are 7 days. Ella Rabbi Yoshua. So rather we go back and we say, no, really it could be Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua, who said to start saying Mashiach Baruch Hu Dageshem on Shmini Atzeres, could hold that you do water libations all of Sukkot. Why? Because v'nisach hamayim kol shiva hilchasa gemirila. Because the idea of doing nisach hamayim for 7 days is hilchasa gemirila. It's a tradition. It's a halacha leMoshe misinai. To Amar Rabbi Ami Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Nechunya Ish Bikas Beis Chorsan. Rabbi Ami said over from Rabbi Yochanan in the name of Rabbi Nechunya, who lived in the valley of Beis Chorsan. He had a statement that said that there are 3 things, there are really more, but in his list here, he mentioned 3 things that are halacha l'Moshe Misinai. Eser netios, the 10 plantings, arava, the willow branch, v'nisach hamayim, and nisach hamayim, the water libations, halacha l'Moshe Misinai. Those are all halacha l'Moshe Misinai. It's a tradition. There's no hinting in the Torah, and Rabbi Yoshua, who says that you start saying Mashiach Baruch Hu Dageshem on Shmini Atzeres, could still agree that there's water libations for 7 days, because that's just a halacha l'Moshe Misinai, that's how it's to be done. Now, what are these other things that he mentions here? So, Eser Netios is a halacha, 10 plantings. See, normally during a Shemitah year, you're not allowed to plant. And not only that, but even immediately preceding the Shemitah year, you're also not allowed to plant, at least a month before. It's called Tosefes Shvis. You're adding on to Shvis. You cannot plant, and that's D'Oraisa. The Torah forbids one to plant not only during the 7th year, but also 1 month before the 7th year. So the Gemara is telling us that which you cannot plant 1 month before Shemitah is in general, but there's an exception. It's called Eser Netios, 10 plantings. What it refers to is if you have saplings, young trees that are not going to make it if you don't give them a little support, a little planting, a little plowing around them, etc. So during that month leading up to Shemitah, one would be still allowed to plow and work the field to support those trees. And that's 10 trees in the space of a base sa, which is a certain amount of space. And really what it's telling you is the 10 trees throughout that area. So you're allowed to plant, you're allowed to work the field around each of those trees, the amount of space that tree is yonik, where it draws from, where it draws nutrients and water from. So what 10 throughout that area is really telling you the individual space of each tree. So really it would be true even if there was 1 tree or 20 trees. But 10 in that space of base sa is telling you how wide the reach of of each tree, the area on which each tree draws from. So you would be allowed to support those trees, to plow and to work the land around those trees still during that month before, so that those trees can still make it. That's specific. That's a halacha l'Moshe Misinai specific for young trees that won't make it if you don't support them during that month before. The halacha of arava, the halacha of the willow, is, in addition, besides for the willow branch that we're most familiar with, the aravos of the lulav, there's another halacha of arava related to Sukkot, which was that they would take the aravos and put them around the mizbeach. And that is a halacha l'Moshe Misinai, discussed more in Maseches Sukkah. Again, for our purposes, though, the main point of this was that nisach hamayim, that the water libations are a halacha l'Moshe Misinai. So Rabbi Yoshua, even though he holds that you only start saying Mashiach Baruch Hu Dageshem on day 8, on Shmini Atzeres, can still agree that you do libations for the 7 days of Sukkot. He could hold that it's for 7 days specifically, because it's a halacha l'Moshe Misinai. It's a tradition received from Moshe. The Gemara continues, it says, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Mishum Rabbi Yoshua, quoting from the Mishnah, or this is actually from the Brisa. it says, Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Rabbi Yoshua, Ha'over lifnei hateva b'yom tov ha'achron shel Chag, whoever is leading the davening on the last day of Sukkot, Mazkir, or on Shmini Atzeres really, Mazkir, he says, Mashi v'ruch morid hageshem, Harishon eino Mazkir, but the one davening Shachris will not say Mashi v'ruch morid hageshem, b'yom tov harishon shel Pesach, but when it comes to the first day of Pesach, when we stop saying Mashi v'ruch, so Harishon Mazkir, the one at Shachris still says Mashi v'ruch, Ha'achron eino Mazkir, the Chazan at Musaf will not say Mashi v'ruch morid hageshem. So the Gemara wants to know, who is this Rabbi Yehuda in the name of Rabbi Yoshua? Hey, Rabbi Yoshua. Which Rabbi Yoshua is this? Ilema Rabbi Yoshua demas nisin. If you'll tell me it's Rabbi Yoshua of our Mishnah, the Rabbi Yoshua that we've been discussing, who said what? Who said that you start saying Mashiv Baruch Morid HaGeshem on the last day, on Shmini Atzeres. Ha'amar b'yom tov ha'achron shel Chag hu mazkir. Well, his language was that Yom Tov Ha'achron Shel Chag, you start saying it from the last day, from Shmini Atzeres. And that implies already from the night before. Not, you don't wait till Musaf. He says you start saying it from Shmini Atzeres. So it doesn't seem like this would be the same Rabbi Yoshua. Ella, Rabbi Yoshua de Braisa. So maybe it's Rabbi Yoshua who's mentioned in the Braisa, who seems to be the same opinion as Rabbi Yoshua of the Mishnah, but he formulated it a little bit differently, because there he said, Ha'amar, but he still can't, because Ha'amar mishas hanachaso. He said you start saying it from the time you put down your lulav, which maybe could mean from the seventh day, but at least it means after the seventh day. It means from the eighth day, but already at night of Shmini Atzeres. So again, Rabbi Yoshua in both the Mishnah and the Braisa seems to be saying you start saying Mashiv Baruch Morid HaGeshem already at the beginning of Shmini Atzeres. So who is this Rabbi Yoshua that's being quoted as saying that you only start saying it at Musaf? Visu, and furthermore I have another question, says the Gemara. Hadatanya Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Ben Beseira. We have a Braisa that says that Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Ben Beseira, Ha'over lifnei hateva b'yom tov ha'achron shel Chag, one who is leading the davening on the last day of Sukkot, on Shmini Atzeres, Mazkir, he's the one who says it. So again, we have this opinion being expressed again, that you start saying Mashiv Baruch Morid HaGeshem at Musaf of Shmini Atzeres, and here it's being said over in the name of Ben Beseira, the son of Beseira. So Rabbi Yehuda said it in the name of Rabbi Yoshua, but we don't know who this Rabbi Yoshua is. And he also said it in the name of Ben Beseira, but we don't know who this Ben Beseira is. Who is this Ben Beseira? Hey Ben Beseira, which Ben Beseira is this? Ilema Rabbi Yehuda Ben Beseira. If you'll tell me it's Rabbi Yehuda Ben Beseira who we've spoken about today, Ha'amar b'sheni b'chag u'maskir. But Rabbi Yehuda Ben Beseira holds you start saying Mashiv Baruch Morid HaGeshem from the second day of Sukkot, not from Shmini Atzeres. So that can't be. So we have that the Amora Rabbi Yehuda. Sorry, it's a Tana. The Tana Rabbi Yehuda is quoting first from a Rabbi Yoshua, we don't know which Rabbi Yoshua, and then from a Ben Beseira, we don't know which Ben Beseira that is. So Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said, Tehei Tarvayu b'Rabbi Yehoshua Ben Beseira. They could both be the same person, they could refer to Rabbi Yehoshua Ben Beseira. Now, why would we call him by different names in different places? Zimnin dekari le bishmei, sometimes he's called by his name. V'zimnin dekari le bishmei da'aba, and sometimes he was called by the name of his father, Ben Beseira. Why? One was before he got smicha, and one was after he got smicha, after he was ordained. Before he was ordained, they called him Ben Beseira, son of Beseira. That was his honor, was to be the son of Beseira. But once he got ordination, once he got smicha, so then he was referred to as Rabbi Yehuda Ben Beseira. Rabbi Yehoshua Ben Beseira. And that's who this is. This is a new opinion. This is actually what we do. We go with this opinion that we start saying Mashiv Baruch Morid HaGeshem at Musaf of Shmini Atzeres. But it's not, interestingly, it's not the Rabbi Yoshua of the Mishnah, who also said you start saying it at Shmini Atzeres, but the Gemara understood that he was saying it from the beginning of Shmini Atzeres. But Rabbi Yehoshua Ben Beseira is telling you to start saying it from the Musaf of Shmini Atzeres. The Gemara continues, it says, Tana, it was taught in a brisa, Betal uveruchos vel chayvu chachamim lahazkir. The dew and the winds, the sages did not require us to mention, to praise Hashem for that. The rain specifically, but not the dew and the winds. If you want to, you can mention it. Right? So we know Nusach Sfar does say Morid Hatal when they're not saying Mashiach Baruch Morid Geshem. They reference the dew, praise Hashem for the dew. And Nusach Ashkenaz does not. Here we have that the Chacham didn't require it. If you want to, you could. My taima. Why? What is the reasoning for this? Why did they not require us to give specific praise for it? So Amar Reb Chanina explained, Lefi she'ein ne'etzarin, because they are not stopped. They never stop. They are constant. The wind and the dew are constants. Vital minolan dulamiyatzer. Ask the Gemara, from where do we know? What's the source that the tal, that the dew never stops, that we have it year round? Because the pasuk says as follows. Pasuk is found in Melachim Aleph. Eliyahu is warning the king Achav. Vayomer Eliyahu at Tishbi mitoshve Gilad al Achav. And Eliyahu, the Tishbite from Gilad, said to Achav, Chai Hashem Elokei Yisrael, I swear by the name of God, Asher Amadti Lefanav, who I have stood before, Im Yiyeh Hashanim Ha'ela Talumatar, if there will be rain or dew in these years, Ki'im Lefi Devar, except for at my word. Eliyahu Hanavi says to Achav, there will not be rain or dew unless I say that there will be. Uksiv, and then we find that it says, Hashem says to Eliyahu, Leich Hera'eh el Achav, go appear before Achav, Va'etna matar al pnei adama, and I will make it rain. So now, right, he says it won't happen unless I say, and now Hashem says, go tell him it's going to happen. Okay. But it only mentions rain. The ilu tal lo ka'amar le. But he doesn't say go tell him that there's going to be dew. He just says go tell him there's going to be rain. My time. What's the reason? Why doesn't he say mention dew? Mishum delo miyatzer. Because they never really stopped. That's our source that the dew does not stop. Ask the Gemara, v'chi mi'achar delo miyatzer. So if they don't stop, Eliyahu ishtavu yilamale. So why did Eliyahu include the dew in his oath? He said, there won't be rain or dew except for at my word. But then there is dew. The dew did not stop. So why did he say that? So the Gemara explains, Hachi ka'amar le. This is what he was telling him. Afilu tal de bracha nami lo asi. There won't even be dew of bracha, dew of blessing. There will be dew, but it won't be dew of blessing. So he did stop the dew. He stopped the dew of blessing, but there was still bad dew. There was still tal that was not of bracha. So the Gemara asks, V'le hadri l'tal de bracha. So why doesn't he show him, right? He's trying to show him that God is in control. So there won't be rain unless I tell you. And then he says, I'm going to bring rain. And there won't be dew of blessing unless I say so. But then he doesn't go and bring it. So why is he shown? Why doesn't he bring on that dew? Ask the Gemara, explains the Gemara, Mishum de lo minkara milsa. Because it won't be recognizable. Because there's been dew the whole time. And if he says, look, I'm bringing back the dew, Achav's not going to say, he's not going to agree, he's not going to be impressed that he brought back dew. He would show him, what do you mean you're bringing back dew? The dew never stopped, because it's not clear to a person what's the dew of blessing, what's the dew of curse, what's good, what's bad. So therefore, it wouldn't have been helpful to bring back the dew of blessing. That's why he stopped the dew of blessing, but he didn't bring it back. But the rain, so that would impress Achav, that would show Achav who's boss, who's controlling things, and therefore he stopped the rain and then he brought it back. But the dew, although the dew of blessing stopped, but dew in general did not stop, that is a source that dew doesn't stop. That's the reason why we're not required to give a specific timely praise for dew like we are for rain. The Gemara that we'll do next week will explore how we know that the wind never stops. See you then. Have a great week.